Buddy Wad, Midland, Texas, November 27th, 2018. The video I want to do today is concerning the medical crimes, and I believe that to be the most important out of all the crimes. There's so many crimes here I can't even count, and they've gone on for so long. But why I think this is so important is because it affects you and your family, okay? And I think that's, I mean, it's one thing for me to tell you, you know, I'm shot inside my house, I'm crippled for life, they destroyed my life, terrorized me every day for years. All the other, you know, terrible crimes have been committed, but that don't touch you. You know what I mean? It touches me, but it didn't touch you, you know? And I believe these medical crimes are a threat to you and your family, and so it's going to be important to watch this, pay attention, because see, there's two things here, and I'll tell people this for we have what we know and we have what we think, okay, and you know, and I have the right to guess, speculate, and ask questions, etc. But there's certain things that I know to be true because the evidence tells me that, and I want you to know they're true. I don't want you to sit there and go, I believe you, because I don't want you to believe me. I want you to look at the evidence, and I want you to know for sure, without any doubt, that these medical crimes are going on. Okay, so I'm gonna do a brief history back here. In 2008, worked for DCP Midstream, 25-year company man. They come to me a couple times wanting me to transfer to Midland, and I did. And so you know, I moved out here. I was excited. I spent my life savings on a home. Okay, and no way anybody could imagine what was coming, and it's still going on to this day. And so I come in here, and then I'm here a couple years. I figure out somebody's breaking into my home. I make my first call for a burglary. That's a felony, and that's really where it started. It's never ending. And this video is not going to be about the underground facility that multiple people have told me about, and all that. Okay. So here I get married a few months before I'm shot, and I'm shot on January 28, 2012. Okay, and I marry a woman from here who's a nurse, and she comes in. She's real upset. This is only a few weeks or a month or two. We only married 3 months, but she comes in and she's real upset, and she whispers to me in my ear and says, "The secret is a group of doctors are killing people for profit." She's upset. She's mad. Okay, and she's dead serious. Okay, I believed it then. I believe it now. I think there's lots of evidence showing that. I didn't record that. I don't record every conversation I have. I don't have proof that she said that. So I don't know if she would come back and go, "Yes, I did say that. Yes, that's happening. Yes, I know that," or if she denies it, whatever. I don't know. I'm telling you it happened, and it happened. Okay, and so then we separate, and that was the end of January, or the end of December, and then the end of January of 2012. My phone lines are cut, and I'm shot inside my home. 2 weeks after reporting a suspected tunnel to the DEA, I'm shot by somebody under my home, etc. Okay. Then the secret police come in. This video is not about that, but they did. Okay, and that's a fact. I got their pictures. I've got the police reports. It took 6 years to get them identified. There can be no doubt about that. You know, you don't have to believe me, okay? Because there's the evidence, and now we know because they're from different states, different counties, different agencies. You know, the first guy that showed up was a sheriff from a different county minutes after I crawled out after being shot into my home. But once again, that's not about that. This is about the medical side. Remember what she said. The secret is a group of doctors are killing people for profit. Okay, so I get up there at the hospital, and x-rays are faked. Okay, well, I didn't know that at the time, of course, and you know, and you know, I'm really, when you get to the hospital, you're thinking they're there to help you. Okay, what I didn't know was that the ER doctor was her brother-in-law. Okay, I didn't find that out, you know, until after I was out of the hospital and all that, and she's the one that told me, by the way. Okay, and so. And maybe he knows something. I never call his name out. I never call her name out. But maybe he knows something, you know, about the faking of X-rays, and then repeated attempts to cut off my leg, okay? And I believe that was to cut off the evidence of this murder attempt, okay? So there, once again, there is no doubt, when we look at the evidence, there is no doubt that I wasn't shot with my gun. I have the proof of that. So somebody shot me in my home. Okay, that's a murder attempt, right? I mean, I think we all agree to that. And there's no doubt we had secret police involved. No doubt about that. That's not Buddy's assessment. That is the fact. That's what happened. Secret police got caught inside the house, still on the evidence I told them about. I wasn't shot with my gun. It's a murder attempt. I get up there. X-rays get faked. Okay. I told Ranger Strain, and I have all the documents back there that I'm going to show you here in a minute, that the most important crime, and that's where I started this, is these medical crimes. This is what is most important. And he wrote me back and said, how would a doctor make money off killing people? You know, and that was one of the few feedback I got from him at all. After all, I'm sending him tons of evidence, hard evidence of capital crimes, you know. But he asked me that, and I'm like, why don't you ask the person that told me that? I provided him with a recording of her admitting to extortion. She tried to extort money from me before I was shot, and I have it on recording. Why don't you use this recording and get her to tell you that, That's what I'm telling you. I said, but it makes sense that, life insurance, property, etc. And then here we have the underground facility and all the other crimes that'd be possible motives for murder. Okay, but there it is. I was telling him, contacted Greg Abbott. I have an email. I'm going to show you that. I told him that. It was probably 2014. FBI office in 2012. I went down there. I told them, In 2016, I sent them a packet of evidence because, once again, I don't want this to be Buddy's word. I don't want to try to convince you. I'm not here trying to make you believe me, okay? I'm saying, here's what happened. Here's the evidence. You ain't got a choice. This is what happened. Okay, and so I sent the FBI, and then the FBI agent Powers calls me on the phone. I secretly recorded it. He's telling me he's going to shred the evidence. That's a YouTube video. Let that sink in. I mean, an FBI agent telling me he's going to shred evidence in a capital murder attempt, recorded on the phone and posted to the internet, and nothing happens. That's what's going on here. Okay, if they fake my x-rays, they'll fake your x-rays. There is millions and millions of dollars to be made off people that will fake them x-rays. Okay? I mean that's all there is to it. You go in there and they show you this x-ray and go, here, we've got a little spot on your lung. How do you know it's your lung? You don't. You took their word for it. You went back there to the x-ray box and you come back out of here and they showed you this x-ray and it's got your name on it and you're assuming that they're not trying to kill you, or cut you up into pieces, You're making that assumption. I sent this evidence to the Texas Medical Board. They're supposed to be responsible for governing, the medical association, right? I sent them evidence. This evidence, it's not Buddy's testimony. It's not Buddy's statement. Here's the hard fact. These x-rays are faked, okay? They tried to cut my leg off. They did cut the back of my foot. They did a partial amputation and on my foot. So they're literally cutting body parts off to cover up capital crimes at the hospital. Okay? Don't think they won't do this to you and your family. And how are you going to know? You're not going to know. Okay, that's how important this is. This has probably gone on hundreds of times besides the insurance fraud, the medical insurance fraud, because they're not doing it for free. They're charging you, or they're charging the insurance company for these procedures that they're not needed, not done, all faked x-rays, okay? And so I want to show you, I'm going to go over some files. I'm going to upload these to a Facebook photo album called medical evidence. I'm going to create that in a minute. I'm going to upload all the files I'm going to show you, and you're going to see that. Hold on a second. Okay, this Buddy bag. I hate taking pictures of my computer, but that's where the evidence is, and so I want to show you. I'm going to just start with some of the proofs, okay? This right here, okay? The size of pellets removed from my foot were 2.5 sizes different than the size of pellets were in my gun, per the lab report. That's ballistic evidence. That's court admissible. Lots of people have been sent to jail or freed based on ballistic evidence such as this. Besides that, I'm shot from 2 inches above ground 2 weeks after reporting a suspected tunnel to the DEA from a company cell phone. That number can be checked. Obviously, somebody at the DEA knows something about this, me being ambushed and shot in my home, okay? And so that's absolute proof. I want to show you that. We know for a fact I wasn't shot with my gun. But that's not all, right? If I was shot with my gun, there'd be an empty shotgun shell. Remember, these corrupt police are saying I shot myself with my own gun. But there is no empty shotgun shells found because I wasn't shot with my gun. Somebody come to my home, under my home, and shot me. I'm just showing you the evidence. This is Barrett, crime scene investigator. Says he was at my house. The police incident report says there's no police at my house. Once again, this is a guy right here that's probably sent people to prison with this testimony. And as far as I'm concerned, his word means nothing right here. And so we don't know how many people he has sent to prison based on sneaking into homes and tampering with evidence. That's a crime scene investigator. Big deal right there. And so it's not Buddy's word. That is what happened. Took 6 years to get these guys identified, plus I had to save $2,000 of disability money. We got their names right here. Rosa Rodriguez, April Chandler, Tony Dickey, Greg Chetwell, Greg Nelson, Marty Barrett, that's a CSI, Chad Simpson, he murdered his wife in 2014, Mike Naylor, sheriff deputy, that also died 2 months before Chad, Mark Gillian, Michael Glick, and John Woodward, who was the Martin County sheriff that was recently arrested, and the very first one to show up right here. Okay, and Empire Private Investigations collected the money and named all of the 11. And then we also know that Matt Davis was here per other evidence, but he's not listed here. So there's a dozen, and there's probably more than that. That's not a what if, could be. It's a fact. Secret police were caught. They hid like cowards for 6 years. Now we know their names. They're still not arrested. I heard this one, April Chandler, on the police scanner yesterday. I recorded it. I just didn't post it. Ain't that amazing? She's the last one to have stolen evidence, and I'm listening to her on this police scanner every day. Okay, and so anyway, I wanted to show the proof. Okay, that's the absolute proof. Here I told you I turned this in. I took this picture in 2012 at the FBI office. This is the wall outside there on Big Spring Street. Okay, that's when I talked to them. I was told never to come back in there again. Okay, I testified in court. Okay, and this is a transcript of court, and this is on December 18, 2013, and this was, I'm saying, the ex-wife told me the secret is a group of doctors killing people for profit, and what she never told me the entire time we was married, that her brother-in-law was a doctor. Okay, he turned out to be the ER doctor on the night I was shot, and that's when the x-rays were faked up there. Okay. And so I testified and told the FBI I testified in court, okay, in 2014. November 2014, I emailed then Attorney General Greg Abbott, and he was replying. He was getting these emails, okay? So our governor of Texas, the Texas governor, knows about these horrific medical crimes of intentional maiming, mutilation, and the attempts to dismember crime victims, okay? 25-year company men, Christians living in their home, they're being shot and left for dead in their home. Our governor knows about that. It has for a long time, since 2014. And I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to see the evidence. That's what the press isn't telling you. Mike Conaway, Congressman Conaway, this is the first time that he wrote me and he advised me to go see the Inspector General or contact them. I did this actually over 100 times, and by mail, by phone. Never got a reply from Horowitz, the Inspector General. Okay, and then I contacted the office back and basically said, I'm sorry you didn't get the response you expected, whatever. And but Congressman Conaway's staff was shown the evidence. They were sent emails. I have those emails. So he also knows about these horrific medical crimes that affect you and your family. The Texas Medical Board, their job is to govern our medical, and there is no governance. They can fake x-rays, they can cut your leg off, and there ain't nobody to stop them, even if you catch them, okay? And this is from the Texas Medical Board. In March 15, 2015, your communication was submitted to our Enforcement Division of the Texas Medical Board, and they're telling me here there's a 7-year time limit right here, which is coming up very soon. It's like they've stalled on purpose, you know, and I'm not saying they were bribed or paid off to stall, but something's going on, and who knows how many x-rays have been faked since 2015, and how long this has been going on. And yeah, we got a problem with the Texas Medical Board. Okay, so I can't go to the FBI office because I was told not to by the FBI, so I sent them registered mail packet of evidence. And then this went to Griffith or whatever, supervisor, FBI, Mr. Griffith, letter, 3-ring binder, flash drive, registered mail, okay. Agent Powers, the one that told me not to go to the FBI office in 2012, calls me on the phone and tells me that he's going to shred this evidence. Shred it on the phone, recorded. That's a video on my YouTube channel and on Facebook. I kid you not. Ranger Strain. Okay, I was contacted the Texas Attorney General Paxton, and his office referred me to the Texas Rangers PIU, the Public Integrity Unit. Public Integrity Unit pulled a quick one and signed this local Texas Ranger Strain, who is probably friends with the people, the secret police, and maybe even here involved. I don't know. But, you know, it's basically, I sent him 60, 70 emails, and all of a sudden he disappeared. I don't know if he quit, he got fired, or what, you know, or it's just total incompetence, you know. But this is the one rare remark I got. How would a doctor make money killing people? And I explained this to him. Remember, I'm sending him the same evidence I'm showing you. He has no doubt. It's not Buddy's word or Buddy's assessment. He knows for a fact there's no way he cannot know these doctors are faking x-rays and dismembering patients. Okay? There's no way you cannot. And then the most recent email from Congressman Conaway after he won the election on November 13th is now he's advising me to contact the Texas legislature. Okay, before, back in 2015, he wanted me to contact the U.S. Inspector General, which was a dead end, and I could never get a call back. Now he's wanting to refer me. It's never his problem. See, it's not my problem, Conaway here. And I'm interested. His brother-in-law used to live across the street from this rigged home where I was shot and left for dead. You know, and so. And how the Texas legislature can regulate the FBI and the DEA, I have no idea. Because, that's why he sent me the Inspector General in the first place. Because of the corruption at the federal level. Okay, so anyway, I've tried to get this story told. I shouldn't have to be making videos to show the public what is going on here. Okay, I'm going to throw this in real quick. What this is, I did the research on my home, who built my home, Tabor Construction, back around 82. I was at the courthouse looking up, trying to find the deed history, because obviously somebody built this home, knows something about it, rigging it, you know, for murder and theft and the hidden entry and all that. Okay. So I noticed Tabor Construction, which is no longer in business, forfeit existence, had a business address on 3217 Mark Lane. I thought, I'm going to go look up that address, and I did. I went to midcad.org and looked up 327 Mark Lane, and to my surprise, my ER doctor used to own that house that the builder of my home is, and my ER doctor is the brother-in-law I didn't know about. Okay, I thought that was kind of interesting, and because that went back. Remember, I testified in court, and of course, I didn't have that recorded. Okay, so let's go over some names here. These are important. Ambulance, okay? Derek McPherson, James Schumann, these were the EMTs. When I was at the 7-Eleven, Rosa Rodriguez meets me at the 7-Eleven. There's a timestamp. And then these guys take me to the hospital. Okay? And then Rosa says she wasn't there. And then April Chandler, she lies and says she's the one that climbed in my truck. So both April Chandler, who I heard on the radio yesterday, and Rosa's lying. And here's two of your witnesses right here. And I can't get a hold of nobody. And you know, but here they are because I was there, they were there. And so let's call out some names of people that were there. Because somebody might know something about a capital attempted murder. Here's the ER staff from the medical records, okay? I've gone over this. It's user in interface, and we'll hit that more in a minute. But nobody knows who this is. This is secret lab tech or doctor or whatever, okay? Kiera Cresswell, and she's the one that did much of the documentation I used Awesome, awesome. But has never responded. I've never spoken to her. Carrie Clary, okay, Katrina Thomason, Lila Walker, Sarah Williams, Talon Holt, Tassie Wirtus, okay? And many of these people I've found on Facebook and sent them messages and they never reply back because these people might have information on horrific medical crimes such as faking x-rays, attempted dismemberment of a crime or dismemberment. They cut the back of my foot off and intentional maiming and mutilation. These are capital crimes. And so here's some names. I want to call them out there. All right. And that was the ER stuff. Let's get into the faked x-rays here. Okay. Right from the medical records. This is super, super important. Okay. ER doctor, my brother-in-law, orders 3-foot x-rays. Okay. At 2337, that's 1137. Okay, so my brother-in-law orders 3-foot X-ray 1137, but it was canceled by user interface at 1141. 4 minutes later, you see that right here. Okay, and then user interface orders 2 X-rays. So then the question is, why did user interface that we can't even identify canceled the doctor's orders, my brother-in-law, and then reordered 2? Okay, and the obvious reason is because he was faking X-rays, okay, or that person was, he or she. Okay, and the timestamps on the foot x-rays are 2327 and 2340, which is before they were ordered by the ER doctor or reordered by the user interface. User interface has never been named. Okay, so, and I can promise you timestamps are down to the milliseconds, okay? And because I took care of a computer network. So we're not just accidentally off. These x-rays were timestamps before they were ordered or reordered. And obviously the reason they user interface canceled the doctor's orders, order 2, is because they were faking x-rays. That's what I've been saying all along, okay? And also on that, I'm going to show you in a minute, on April 12th, a few months later, Dr. Hinton, who's a radiologist, he stated he compared my x-rays from the injury date of 1/17/12 to others I'd taken on 1/19/12, but I was shot 11 days later on 1/28/12. Okay, so he wasn't looking at my x-rays. That's not a typo. That's 2 different dates. Okay, so that's led me to believe somebody else was shot 11 days before me, and that's the foot in the faked x-rays. This has led me to suspect that somebody was shot 11 days before me, and it's that person's foot in the faked x-ray. Dr. Hinton billed my insurance company for x-rays on 1/28/12. So Dr. Hinton is never in the medical records, but he billed the insurance company for x-rays on the night that I shot. So was Dr. Hinton also user interface, and was he the one that faked x-rays? That's unknown. I'm not saying he did. I'm asking questions, okay? I reserve the right to ask questions, okay? I had already been saying before I found that my x-rays are faked. And why was I saying that? Because spam. Because this x-ray is 4 months before I shot. This is what your heel bone looks like, okay? This x-ray is one of the faked ones, okay? Notice the heel bone's missing. I hadn't had surgery yet, okay? Now, notice all the shotgun pellets and all this stuff in here. I hadn't had surgery yet. That's not my foot. I believe that's the foot of the person shot on 1/17/12, okay? And that person also had more x-rays on 1/19/12. I believe that foot, but it has my name on it, okay? And so I was already saying they faked my x-rays before I found the timestamps, okay? And then at Dr. Glass's office, and this was in March of that year, he had the old style, ancient type x-ray and light box on the wall and developed develop in the dark room and all that stuff. We go take x-rays, supposedly. He puts his x-ray up here. He walks out of the room. I have a printed off copy of my x-ray where I broke that toe 4 months before, okay? And that's what I'm showing, where the toe's broke, and it's not broke here. And I called him out on that. And I said, where's that broken toe at? Because it was only a few months before, all this happened. Where'd it go? And he started stuttering. You can see it right here. And he points the wrong direction, the opposite direction of the break. He's busted. I've never seen anybody so busted. That's when he said, well, let's get an MRI and see what we can do. So then I go get an MRI, at the hospital. And I'm telling the x-ray tech or MRI tech when I'm going in there, I said, yeah, I was shot, but I wasn't shot with my gun. And she's like, yeah, we'll see about that, And then I said, and then I told her, I said, you know what? I was telling old doc, I said, I'm gonna take me a road trip somewhere at 500 miles. So I'm gonna find me an ER, and I'm gonna get an X-ray. And when I come back, somebody's going to prison. And she lost her voice. She couldn't even tell me how to get in the machine. I feel 100% that she knew they were faking them X-rays, trying to dismember crime victims, maiming and mutilating crime victims. Okay, and remember, I'm just home minding my own business when they come to my home and shot me. Okay. So anyway, the absolute proof. I don't want you to have to believe me. I want you to know for a fact they fake my X-rays, and they fake my X-rays, they'll fake your X-rays. Okay, because there's a lot. I mean, when I was told the secret right here, she didn't say, oh, they're just killing you for profit. She said they're killing people for profit. Okay, they're killing people. Dr. Hinton, I said, Dr. Hinton, I found this just this year, charged for 128.12 the night of the shooting. So Dr. Hinton was at the hospital, even though his name. So was Dr. Hinton user in interface? Okay. Here is our operating room staff. Golly, that's tiny. Wow. Carlos Morales was the LSA, whatever the assistant. Joel Dyer, James Anastasio, Sharon Williams. Okay, these are people that were in the operating room. Okay, and I believe this is the second surgery on 2/1, and I didn't have the. It's not the file that I planned on showing. Okay, but because I have the one for the ones that were there on the night I'm shot. That's interesting. Okay, here we go. The next day after I'm shot, okay, on 129 that morning, 7:26. Here's some other names: Gregory Keck, Jane Box, and Sherry Constable. Okay, so then this radiologist looks and he does a comparison and all that from the other X-rays. So these are more people that might know something. Okay, and okay. This right here is Dr. Hinton, okay? And here's where he said the gunshot wound injury dates 1/17/12, comparison made to 1/19/12, and I'm shot on 1/28/12, and here's it was on April 12th, Dr. Hinton. So he was looking at the X-rays from 1/17/12 compared to 1/19/12 and thought they were mine, but there wasn't. They were somebody else's, obviously, because I wasn't shot 11 days later. And what's interesting, Dr. Hinton charged the insurance company for X-rays, and them X-rays are faked. I mean, there is no doubt about that. And so, some people have said, ain't that medical insurance fraud if they charge you for fake X-rays? I think it is medical insurance fraud if they charge you for fake X-rays. Okay, and this was just in the news. Another radiologist in town, Wimpy here, Dr. Wimpy in Midland, was arrested for sexually assault of a child, and this was back in April of 2017. And so I just went to Google and Googled his name, and I'm going to find out he's in the same office as Dr. Hinton and my ER doctor. They're all in the same office, I think, or were. I don't know if they are now, but that's what it looked like when I Googled it. Okay. Here's another doctor. Okay, this is interesting. I took this picture in front of my house. It was actually in front of the neighbor's house there at 3801, at Eli Vargas's house, but I don't think anybody was home. And so it looked suspicious. A green Jaguar had a white dog in the back wearing scrubs. And it was an Indian guy. So it looked like a doctor. Here's the date, June 2014. Remember, I'm shot in January 2012, okay? But the secret is a group of doctors killing people for profit, okay? Well, then a year later, this doctor gets murdered over in Odessa, okay? I've had multiple people tell me that the doctor that was in front of my house was Dr. Gattiselli that ended up getting murdered a year later. And when you read this article in the Odessa American, it says where he was being investigated by the FBI for a type of money laundering. And so I've, at least suspicion that he was connected somehow to organized crime. And I wonder if that wasn't part of the group of doctors killing people for profit and his murder was connected to it. Okay. And that would just seem to make sense. Okay. And, I want to go through here I have a video called Desperate to Amputate, okay? And these are 9 different records I got from the medical reports just while I'm in the hospital, okay? And it's coming from the surgeon here. I believe he has a major problem, may very well require below-the-knee amputation, okay? This one is on 129/12, okay? Now remember, faked x-rays. Well, every time you read this, consider right BKA for second look. 129/12. That's where I found it again. Another note, BKA is below the knee amputation. Okay, here we go. 130. We had further discussions. BKA below the knee amputation. Okay. Okay, this is where Rosa Rodriguez, Detective Rosa Rodriguez, Midland Police Department, she mentions amputation. This is the legal visit, the only known visit to my house. She come to the hospital before they come to my home on 2/1, but remember they'd already been inside my home on 129, but they got caught on camera, and of course nobody was supposed to know that, but they accidentally started the camera. But she come up there, and I'm sure it was important to her because they were in my home stealing evidence, and my foot is evidence. And why did they want to cut my foot off? Because it was going to prove a murder attempt. That's why. Okay, and so that was important to Rosie Rodriguez that they cut my leg off. This is before I went in for the second surgery. And here we go again. Patient declines amputation. That is on 131 every single day, over and over and over. Here's 2/1. He does not wish to have an amputation. They kept asking. I kept saying no. Okay. Not willing to have a below the knee amputation. This was on February 4th. Okay. This is the discharge summary from the hospital on February 7th. Okay, we thought the police department required him that he not go home. That's an interesting statement in itself because obviously we have some corrupt police involved, the secret police. It says, I offered this patient a right below the knee amputation, but he declined. Once again, okay, he might have to have it later, okay. And so cutting my leg off was very important. And then I even found another one back in March, which is a month later, okay, and they're still wanting to cut off that leg. And this went on every time I saw that doctor, he would mention amputation, you know. And it makes sense, right? They faked x-rays and maimed and mutilated me. And see, I would show you the pictures, but I know it'll get blocked by Facebook, and I don't want this video blocked. And so I'll just show you the current pictures of my foot. There's the back. That's what I live with every day. My company put me on disability, ended a 28-year career, okay? So now I live on a partial income, under a death threat, and I'm crippled, okay? And there's the back of my foot. And I believe they tried to cut my Achilles tendon and to make my foot useless to force an amputation. But, and I think the last story here, and I've told this one before here, and there when they that one blew it all. Dropped my phone. The doctors come in and says, yeah, we think you need an amputation, and you know, we don't think it's going to be useful, you know, we recommend it, you know, and I had to make that decision, and they left, and then they come back. Whole family's sitting there. My dad's sitting there, and so they left, and I was upset, you know, because they cut my leg off, you know. And here I'd been 14 months going, I've been calling the police, the Texas Rangers, the FBI, told friends, families, co-workers, everybody, people breaking in my house, and here I am, they're going to cut my leg off. I was so upset, you know, and I screamed at my family, and I said, this is your fault. I tried to tell you they were breaking in my home, you know. And then the doctor comes back in the room to get my, you know, to get my answer whether they're going to cut my leg off or not. And I look over at my dad that's standing there, and he's got this angry look on his face. And the dad died last year, you know, and then I didn't talk to him the last 3 years of his life, not because of me, because of him, okay. And he's over there
like that, shaking his head no, and he's mad, and I just sensed that something was going on, and now I know what was going on. They were trying to cut my leg off. They were trying to cut the evidence of a capital attempted murder off, is what they're doing, and thanks to my dad is the only reason I have my leg today. And so this Buddy Webb, as I told you, I don't want you to believe me. I want you to look at the evidence and know for yourself, and know that they're a threat to you and your family.